Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1.
Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome into a Monday edition of the JP Peterson Show. Hope you guys had a great weekend. Saw F1 last night. Good movie. Really good movie. I enjoyed it. We'll talk about that. Talk about the Rays. Not so great weekend. What's going on with the sale? We'll touch on that. We'll hit a little Bucks today. Could Baker Mayfield be in serious consideration for the MVP? The answer to that is hell freaking yes. So we'll get to that as well. And the story of Isaac Howard. Is he going to be traded? Does he want to be traded? What the hell's going on with him and the Lightning draft this weekend? We'll get into all that and more and all your comments and questions on the JP Peterson Show. We thank you guys so much for joining us. Good morning to you, Nick Geddes from On3 Sports. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing great. We have reached the worst part of the calendar officially. Yesterday was the wake-up call. Sunday daytime, Sunday live television in late June. Boy, we're a little bit down bad, and that's why I spent my Sunday playing golf yesterday instead, which was a great decision.
I don't know what you're talking about because I enjoyed on a very rainy day, a rarity for me. We just chilled and watched sports, movies, then went to the F1 movie at night. Just kind of really low key. I kind of enjoyed it. And, I watched the Rays, which is boring as hell. They couldn't get anything going. And that was just like, there's no vibe in that stadium. It was just, that was like really boring, like really freaking boring. And then I watched the Rocket Challenge because our boy Jackson Suber from Tampa, Palmacia's own, was in the hunt. He was within a stroke of the lead. At 15, he birdied 15, and the bogey. I think he bogeyed 16, birdied 17, and then came up short. Couple of holes late, he underclubbed and could not get the job done, but did finish tied for fifth, which puts him at 108 and the FedEx Cup standings. He's got to get into the top 100 to assure his card for next year. But that was a big day for Jackson Suber. So I watched that. And that one went to freaking 5 playoff holes. And the 20-year-old Pot Guider, who hits it freaking mile, longest driver on tour, gets his first win as a 20-year-old, a South African kid, kind of a lumpy, just kind of a everyday teenager kind of guy. And that's his second playoff this year, and he won this one. So very impressive for him. There was a little bit to watch.
So you mean to tell me that you didn't watch Captain America winning in his home state yesterday over on the other tour? You mean to tell me you weren't watching that?
Who?
Captain America. You weren't watching Captain America on the other tour?
The Live Tour?
Yes.
Is that even on TV?
Yeah, it's always on the CW. You know that.
Yeah.
Do you know Captain America? You seem like you're blanking on Captain America.
The film.
Where Patrick Reed.
Captain America?
Patrick Reed for his prolific Ryder Cup one-on-one matchups that he's won over the years has earned that
still
Captain
a thing?
America moniker. Apparently, but he won yesterday, by the way, at his home state of Dallas, his first Live Tour win. Surprised you weren't watching that.
No. I cannot watch that. I can't watch it. I don't understand it. Like the shotgun starts and guys are on different holes, and it's ridiculous. The whole thing's a carnival.
It's great when Patrick Reed's on 18 when
we're gonna franchise our teams.
Yeah, it's great when Patrick Reed's on 18, by the way, when they're tied and the guy he's tied with is on hole 1. How do you even get into that at the end? There's the drama.
Remember that game? And like when they show up at the majors and they're wearing their team gear, like, does anybody care about these? Remember when they announced we're going to see this team gear everywhere. People are going to have their favorite team, the Las Vegas Aces or whoever the hell they are. Or I guess they're not even named after cities. They're named after players, right? They're going to have their whatever the hell it is. And people are going to be wearing their gear, and we're going to sell these franchises for billions of dollars like football teams. How's that going? How's that
Not
go?
well.
Is Live Golf for the amount of money? Like we the Rays fans that love to tout how great Stu Sternberg is and how little he spends. I had a little spat with some of these geeks this weekend. Flip it around. Like per whatever they're looking for in Live Golf, the amount of money they have spent for the least amount of attention in a sport, like it's off the charts. Like if you're the worst sports manager in history. Like we've spent $75 billion and we get a 0.3 rating. Congratulations. All the star power, all the money that they put in this league, and it's not even a ripple. Like nobody cares. Like the ratings are probably less than the WNBA. I don't know, maybe a non-Caitlin Clark WNBA game. I mean, seriously, has anybody done a study on that? The amount of money invested in the star power. Like, how can you have this many stars and get this little attention? Like, I didn't even know Live Golf was playing. I'm in the business. I didn't even know they were playing yesterday. I literally could not care less.
I was just
an aside.
I didn't even know what their ratings are, but I guess their last one, the one that they had in Miami, was 570,000 was the average that tuned in.
570,000.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. With the amount of money they've spent, you could pay every viewer $1 million to watch and get bigger ratings, I think. I don't know. I got to do the math on that, but close. Seriously. And what was ever the end goal? To take over golf? To take over golf and on a global level? We're gonna replace the PGA Tour. Well, how's that working?
The best part was there were actual real human beings I think they're real human beings on social media. They might not be, but they were actually saying that because of Patrick Reed's win yesterday, that Keegan Bradley needs to put him on the Ryder Cup team this year. Like, because what he did yesterday apparently meant something so much and they have to put him on the team, even though doesn't nobody like Patrick Reed? Like that's a thing. He does not get along with anybody.
No,
yeah.
No, he's not very popular. No, I don't know. I don't even pay attention to what Ryder Cup points they get for Live Tour, but I'm guessing nothing because still don't get world points or whatever that is. So, but does he make the team as a captain's pick? I mean, you can't deny the guy's success as a Ryder Cupper. You cannot. I mean, as much as you may or may not like the dude, he is one of the few guys that actually wins out there for the Americans. True?
He has proven in individual play, but in team play, he's been very subpar.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I thought his overall record was good in the Ryder Cup. Is that not true?
Oh, I think
his overall record.
He had 2 Ryder Cups where I know he went 5-0 in just one-on-one competition. I believe.
Well, they only play one-on-one at the end, singles.
Yeah,
there's only one singles match, so. Everything else is team-related.
They're not on the Ryder Cup. Like you mentioned, they're not on the Ryder Cup thing. So anybody on Live would have to get the captain's pick. And Bryson's going to be the captain's pick. But at this point, are you taking Brooks Koepka? No, probably not. I don't see how you could because his game, and I think he withdrew from this event after the first day too, after he shot 9 over. So I think maybe Bryson might be the only American you see from the Live Tour on the Ryder Cup team.
I haven't done much research on that yet, but I should probably start looking into that. But it's going to be an interesting debate. And if Keegan Bradley, is he going to play or is he going to captain?
I mean, he's 9th in the Ryder Cup standings on his own right now.
Yeah. Well, you got to be top 6 to automatically qualify, right?
You got to be top 6 to qualify. But I mean, my goodness, how could you not? I know nobody's been captain since Arnold Palmer in 1963 or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's too much.
It's a lot, but I mean, he's playing really good golf right now. But
yeah, well, I would think I have to look into it a little bit more, but I would think Tiger's been assistant captain forever, right? And so why not just for this year, Tiger, you captain Keegan? I mean, if you play yourself at least that close. Of course, he won a couple of weeks ago. Then I think you play. I haven't looked at Keegan's Ryder Cup record, though. See what his numbers are. Intern Danny, find me Keegan Bradley and Patrick Reed's Ryder Cup records, please. Intern Danny's on the show today. I haven't looked at that, and I think that's important because I need to know, because it's such a different format, right? It's so different. The pressure is so different. It's just some guys are built for it, like Tommy Fleetwood. Tommy Fleetwood is built for Ryder Cup. He can't win squat on his own, but as a team member, the dude's phenomenal. He's absolutely, because he can kind of freewheel it, and Tommy can go low when Tommy goes low, but when it comes down to winning by yourself, it's a little bit of choke effort. So it's a totally different type of golf. So I'm very specific about what's your Ryder Cup record. What have you done in that format, as opposed to now, if you're playing good golf, obviously you want to pick the guys that are on top of their game and stay away from guys that are struggling. You just, in that pressure pack, I think we've done this before. Like, we've picked names like, okay, I know how they're not playing great, but they've played great before. And I'm like,
Yeah, it's like, how, do you want to take Jordan Spieth again this year just because he's been there
No.
all this time? I don't. I really don't. I think it's time to
his game has been too up and down, Yeah.
Agreed.
So we'll see. All right, let's get into some of the other stuff we wanted to jump into, and we'll start with the Rays. Over the weekend, they lose 2 of 3. They jump out to a 6-0 lead on Friday and get run down and lose 22-8. Yikes! That to me was with the pitching, the way Pepio's been pitching, the way this bullpen's been pitching, I was like, damn, what the F happened there? And in the end, Caballero's given up, I think, 6 runs in the end. But that was a bit of an eye opener. But it's going to happen. It's going to
162 games.
And sometimes when you get a big, like Pepio had, he's probably like, holy shit, they scored 6 runs for me. Now what do I do? I mean, he's gotten no run support all year long. And he probably in the back of his mind just went, okay, let's throw strikes, trust your stuff. And he, started missing over the middle of the plate. The next thing you know, you've given up 6 runs and you're out of the game. So that was kind of weird. And and then they come back the next day and win 11-3. And Aranda hits a 467-foot bomb, the longest home run by a left-hand hitter in Camden Yards in 20 years. Like, where did that pop come from? Not only is this guy now doing it with constant contact, and his numbers are among the best in the league, top 3 of all players, best across the board of first baseman. He can't get into the All-Star game. He'll get in, though, pretty sure. Hopefully he gets an at-bat. Hopefully he'll get an at-bat. But that 467-foot shot, that was a bit of an eye-opener for me, because obviously he's been a great, he's been always a great contact hitter, but now he's adding some real raw power to his game, which is spectacular, really. And, he might get to 25 home runs this year. Who knows? Which is completely unexpected.
Yeah, I mean, that's a player who I think came up, in 2022 at some point, and after all the stuff he did in AAA, and it was like, is this ever going to click for him at the major league level? And I guess this is a lesson that if you give somebody consistent at-bats, and I know that when it's hard to do that because the Rays have been in this sort of compete window for a while now, and They couldn't afford to have somebody up taking a roster spot trying to figure it out at the major league level. But this year, they put all their eggs into the Jonathan Aranda basket, and it certainly has paid off. Of course, this guy can't get into the All-Star, the top 2 voting thing, and Paul Goldschmidt, who's literally hitting 140 over his last 40 games with the Yankees, is probably going to be the All-Star starter. It is what it is. We know that's how it happens. I think fully confident that Jonathan Aranda will be on that All-Star team, and that's an amazing accomplishment. You mentioned the fact that he's added power to his game, in addition to the contact that he brings and runner in scoring position, the fact that he's hitting 330 or something like that. But he's a hell of a defender over there at first, too. I mean, I think that's really good. That's the most surprising part for me is other than a few mistakes maybe a couple weeks ago there at first base, I can't really recall a time where I've gone, man, Jonathan Aranda's not picking up his slack there at first. He absolutely has. For a guy who, there's a reason why they didn't want to put him at second base and everything, and he had to DH whenever he was up here, because he just wasn't a good fielder. But he's turned himself into an all-around ball player, and 467 feet, that's one of the longest home runs in the history of this franchise. So that was great to see. But this was an odd series in general. I think I had it scored when I did my math here. 50 runs were scored combined in this 3-game set between the Rays and the Orioles. And I think there were like 70 hits. Like everybody was just pitching was up until yesterday when Dean Kramer was able to shut down the Rays lineup for the entire day. I mean, pitching was pretty much optional from both teams at parts of this series. So really odd. The Orioles, even though they're last place, I mean, this is now twice the Rays have played them in the last week and a half, and they're just proven to be a tough team for the Rays to handle for whatever reason. It's really bizarre. And I thought Pepio, it kind of felt like it was a little bit of a quick trigger for a guy who I think has, kind of been flirting with becoming an ace in this league at the moment, but he didn't really have his stuff. And when you're asking your bullpen then to go basically 8 innings, it's a recipe for disaster. And that one got away from the Rays.
Yeah, certainly did. And just in general, 4-2 on the road trip, though. So you'll take that every single time they got the sweep of KC. So that's good. They're home for 3 games, and then they're back out on the road. This is part of the wacky schedule that they have to play, which really doesn't bother me because they're playing great on the road as well. So it's turned out to be kind of good. They can get away from the heat of Steinbrenner Field. And although it's hot everywhere, like it's hotter in the Northeast than it is here.
They get away from they get away from the thunderstorms. I mean, isn't it kind of weird? Like I know the Rays, we're just now getting into like the crazy thunderstorm season, and my goodness, it feels like every day it's just like it's unbelievable out there. I mean, you definitely got to stay safe when you're outside. It's amazing we have not gotten a single rain out thus far this year for the Rays. Like we're at this point in the season, and they've avoided it. And obviously they have all these road games during peak thunderstorm season. So that's amazing. But I mean,
what's interesting is, when of course everybody said they're playing outside, everybody lost their mind. Oh my God, every game's going to be rained out. And I'm like, okay, well, let's look at the data. How many Tarpons games are rained out a year? Like 4 or 5. That's it. And that they play in that stadium. And I'm like, well, that's not so bad. Rain delays? Not so bad. Hasn't been so bad. Are the games hot? Yeah. Guess what? They're hotter in New York than they are in Tampa. At least it has been for most of this for the last few weeks. The heat wave in the Northeast has been worse than down here. Still, the most bizarre stat in the world is that Tampa has never reached 100 degrees officially.
Right.
On the
right. In New
still
York
to this day. All the week. It's 102 in Detroit. In New York. Yeah. Never in Tampa. Paul Delgado always reminds us about that on Twitter.
I'll tell you what, though, it feels
bizarre.
It certainly feels like it's past 100, though. It certainly feels like it outside, and I'm sure there's
it feels like, Although this morning was like beautiful. Yeah, this morning was like a spring day. It's been incredible. Because when the rain cools it off,
of course we're gonna have the crappiest weather for the 4th of July weekend. Apparently, there's like a monsoon coming in. Apparently, so we'll have to deal with that.
But for this week. For the next 2-3 days, we got 3 games against the A's. Rasmussen going tonight. And then Tuesday, Boz against Jeffrey Springs. Then Wednesday, we got a day game. That's probably going to be pretty hot. But
we probably should, by the way, we probably should talk about yesterday's game. I mean, obviously, that was, like you said, it was a pretty, boring affair, to be honest, on a Sunday afternoon. But I feel like we got to talk a little bit about Taj Bradley. And we have to have a timeout here on Mr. Taj Bradley because he put together a really good outing his last time out, I believe, before this one. But when you look at sort of his recent sort of game logs and everything, and every time he's been out there, that is sort of looking like an outlier right now. I'm looking at a pitcher who is struggling mightily with confidence, and he can't get off to a good start. I mean, this guy has to lead Major League Baseball in the amount of runs he gives up in the first or second inning. It has to be astronomical or something crazy. At least it feels like it. And I have to ask too, where did the strikeouts go with Taj Bradley? They have dried up. I mean, this guy in his first season with the Rays, 104 innings, 129 strikeouts. Last year, 120 or 138 innings, 154 strikeouts. And this year he's down, I think, to 79 strikeouts. And when you look at his recent output, 2 strikeouts yesterday, 4 the game before, 2 before that, 5 before that, and 2 before that. Like Taj Bradley, for the stuff that he has, for him to not being able to punch out any batters, it is sort of reminding me of like Chris Archer back in the day. Like that's
Yep.
like the feeling that Taj Bradley is giving me at the moment, and that's not a good thing. And I'm just curious of how much longer the Rays are going to ride this out with Taj Bradley, because we know Joe Boyle and Ian Seymour are looming down in AAA and they're killing it. And Taj Bradley just
How
seems like
long
a
can
guy
you keep Joe Boyle in AAA?
yeah,
I mean,
Taj Bradley just looks like a guy who's just fighting confidence right now.
yeah, yeah. And does Taj have any uh, options left? I think he does.
I believe he does. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he does. Yeah, I don't. We thought that they fixed him, right? Although I said after that one game, I said let's pump the brakes here. That's one game. Let's see him string together 3 or 4 good starts, and he couldn't do it. So yeah, I mean, we're certainly not giving up on Taj Bradley,
No,
but it just
24 years
seems
old.
like, yeah, he's just seems like it's not up to the level of what this team needs right now. And Joe Boyle just seems like wipeout numbers. Asked intern Danny to get me his numbers. Yeah, Keegan Bradley, by the way, 4-3 at the Ryder Cup, so he's about average. Get those Patrick Reed numbers too. Yeah, I just don't. I think it's time that maybe you just send Taj Bradley down for a little bit and bring Joe Boyle up. I mean, he's going to give you that kind of dominant strikeout numbers. I just think when I look at this team, and we talked about this with Orestes yesterday. By the way, Orestes is going to join us in studio tomorrow for half hour or so. So join us tomorrow. We're going to talk a lot of Rays baseball. It just seems like this team needs an experienced arm in the back of the bullpen, one more, and it needs another offensive weapon, another big hitter in the lineup. And I think you say, well, what's the room? Where are we going to put him? What room? It's definitely probably got to be an outfielder, I would think, a power hitting outfielder and someone with experience in the postseason. I'm talking a big name with that's going to be available at the end of a contract that the Rays can leverage into something, because I think they're that good. I think they have a chance to be good, but I think there's deficiencies still in their offense. I know that you don't see it right now, but we saw it at the beginning of the season. The hot streak is the hot streak, but I don't want to mention that Brandon Lowe tends to be hot and cold, and he's been scorching hot, and
I don't know.
he's been
The offense.
healthy and.
Yeah, I don't know. The offense right now, when you look at the 1 through 6 of Josh Lowe, Brandon Lau, Yandy Diaz, Jonathan Aranda, Junior Caminero, and then I honestly throw Jake Mangum in there because this guy continues to just do nothing but hit.
And he's going to leave out my man Chandler Simpson?
I'm getting there to him. Trust me, I'm going to get there to him. Ha-Sung Kim, I mean, I've been hearing from Eric Neander multiple times, like any day now. He'll be up here eventually, and obviously he's going to raise the floor a bit at the shortstop position from an offensive standpoint. I think Matt Thaiss, I mean, hell, compared to I think he's been honestly really great, and I even think Danny Jansen has been starting to come along too. So I kind of like where the catcher position is at, especially when you compare it to where it was last year. But you mentioned Chandler Simpson. I did not leave him out on purpose. I wanted to save him for a separate because I don't know if you got a chance to see the game on Saturday, but man, this right here was the full Chandler Simpson experience. I mean, you want evidence to why you need this guy in your lineup, and you should never, under any circumstance, send this guy down to AAA. Saturday was a great example of that. The way he started that baseball game, he was able to draw a walk where he had a 3-2 count, and he took a very close pitch. He gets on base, and then he goes to steal second. The throw goes into the outfield. He goes to third. Taylor Walls sac fly. He comes in. Chandler Simpson effect. And then he does it again. He goes out into the outfield, and everybody's talking about his defense and everything. He makes a sliding catch, and then Jackson Holliday rips one the other way. Chandler Simpson goes and gets it, and he throws a nice ball to second base to Brandon Lau, who tags out Jackson Holliday. So he makes 2 defensive gems, and then he comes up, he gets on base again, and he comes in to score, and that ignited like a 5 or 6 run inning for the Rays. I mean, I'm just watching that, and I had a smile on my face. I'm just like, this guy is just so much fun to watch. He plays such a great brand of baseball. When you pair him next to Jake Mangum, they have those 2 guys back-to-back in the lineup. Yeah. And I'm telling you, they are a pain in the ass to deal with from an opposing team standpoint.
Could not agree more. And it's, obviously the odd man out is Morel. And you could put a really good piece in that slot And again, the offense looks great right now, although it looked like crap yesterday. But that's going to happen. But, and I hate to say it, but we're just one injury away from being back to where we were offensively. This lineup is great when everybody's healthy and going. But how often have we seen that as a long stretch for some of these guys? I'm not trying to put a hex on anybody. It doesn't work that way anyway. I'm not a superstitious person. But we know history tells us that we got some China dolls in the lineup. So it is what it is. Not trying to be mean. I'm just saying, if you have a surplus of pitching and maybe there's going to be a window where we could add some payroll with a new ownership group, yes, then this might be a moment where that actually happens. I'm just saying, would be nice.
Well, we got a month to get there. To see how this looks. But
yeah.
I mean, right now, I would love to see them if they've been right there, like, nipping on the Yankees' heels of getting into first place. And I think right now they're like a game and a half back. And that's why I think this A's series is so important. The Rays have like the most wins in Major League Baseball against teams over 500. And clearly they have let a few slip by against some of these under 500 teams. And the A's is a last place baseball team. So can the Rays do what they're supposed to do? Win 2 out of 3 or perhaps sweep the A's. And this stuff's going to matter because obviously you want to be in first place. Of course you do.
Well, and also while we're on the Rays, I thought Topkin did a great piece this weekend on the Rays camaraderie and what they've had to deal with over, especially this season and how they've been so resilient and come through it. And I don't think we talk about this enough, to be quite honest. And he had a really good quote in there from Josh Lowe. He said, this group is, where is it? Let me see if I have the exact quote here. He tweeted it out too. Stand by. He said, popped away. Stand by. I had it all here ready to go. And then there it goes. All right. It says, whether it's the hurricane to not knowing where we're playing to the whole potential sale of the team now, I think we do a really good job of taking care of business and worrying about keeping the main thing the main thing. Could not agree more. And Rasmussen said, even though our group has become incredibly close over the past couple of weeks, I think it'll bring us even closer. We spend more time on the bus, on an airplane, and in hotels, talking about the extended road trips. He says, one of the things about being at home is everyone goes home to their own family, so you don't necessarily spend as much time as you would think at home with each other. But when you're on the road, that's when you can really bond and become closer as a group. Added infielder Taylor Walls, in this clubhouse, we love one another, so it's pretty easy to get along, get to the field early, chat it up, do whatever it takes. I don't think that'll be a problem, to be honest. Rays bosses and players have cited that improved camaraderie is one of the reasons the team has played better this season, so that extra bonding time has value. Brandon Lau says, this group is so close, we're having such a good time that if we do go on the road, guys are getting a drink after the game, getting coffee in the morning, playing video games together in the hotel, just finding ways that you're away from home, but you're still having a good time with the guys that are in here. It makes road trips not feel as long. It makes them a whole heck of a lot easier when you enjoy being with the group that you're with. These guys are your brothers, whether you want them to be or not. I see these guys more often than I see my wife. It's just one of those things that you're in close contact, you're in close quarter with these guys. So you better get in close, you better have fun, and we're doing a good job of that. And I think this is, it's something that we haven't talked enough about, to be quite honest, because it hasn't been that way the last few years. And it started back in the Arozarena, Yandy Diaz throwdown, that we remember that, right? The Wander Franco is a bad teammate situation. And you just had, the Jose Siri effect. The guys were kind of more separated, and you just felt you could watch it on the screen. It didn't feel like the Rays way. Going back to when Joe Madden changed the culture and Kevin Cash picked it up, it was always a very selfless team. There were no prima donnas. There were, just none of that shenanigans going on. And it got away from them, quite frankly. I think from a culture standpoint, it just got away from them. They totally remade the roster over the offseason, and this group is so much better at all that stuff. And I think it's
I feel like
great to watch.
I feel like a lot of that, honestly. I mean, there's leaders in this clubhouse for sure. When you think about Yandy Diaz and his tenure with this team, he's actually pushing towards. I think he's one of the longest tenured Rays of all time. Actually, Yandy's been here since early 2018. So he's part of this. Zach Littell, we've mentioned. I know his name is always in trade conversations, but again, he showed it again this weekend. I mean, the guy's a bulldog on the mound. And he's a big-time leader. He's a big-time leader for that pitching staff. So I don't really kind of want to trade Zach Littell, if I'm being honest with you.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I had said earlier, that may be a guy that we could let go, but I retract that statement. Yeah, I think from a culture standpoint, we need him.
Yeah, but I was going to bring up, he's 21 years old. He's the youngest guy in this team. But Junior Caminero, I feel like, is a big part of this.
Oh,
because
huge.
Because there's two things he does. Number one, when you watch him play baseball, this dude is having the time of his life. You can tell. I mean, this guy hasn't gotten paid yet or anything. At this point, he's playing for love of the game. And you can see it that when he's absolutely rolling, it's just very infectious. It feels like he's always like the first one out of the dugout when someone hits a home run to go up there and congratulate his teammate and get the congratulation train started and everything. To me, he's growing into that leadership role at 21 years old. And when you produce the way he does, that makes it a lot easier for guys to follow. I think when Jose Siri, we always wanted to talk about with Jose Siri, well, he's got this good energy and these guys and whatnot, but Jose Siri was not pulling his weight. And we had so many examples where he's not running out ground balls or lollygagging in center field and things like that and being a little too cool, I think it's different. Junior Caminero is pulling his weight. He's going to be an all-star. He's the main guy in this lineup. He's been the main guy, a part of this resurgence for this group over the last month or so. And so I just can't be more impressed. Like, if you're trying to compare, Junior, and I'm comparing them both on the field, okay? Off the field is obviously a different story. But if you're comparing this 21-year-old Junior Caminero to the other 21-year-old phenom that we once had in Wander Franco, I think it's night and day by the way the two interact with their teammates.
Absolutely. And that's huge because when your best player is that selfless and that about the team, and works his ass off, that's what you got to have. That's a combination. All these things that we're talking about, these kind of intangibles, the tangibles are there on the field. I mean, they're 10 games over 500. They're a game and a half out of the Yankees. They're 3.5 up in the wild card. They're playing great baseball. So you got the tangibles, but we're talking about the intangibles now that mean something in a 162 game season. You got to be around these guys. It's more important maybe in baseball than in any sport because you got to be around them all like Brandon says, you're with these guys more than you are your wife and your family. So it's important. And I don't think they got along very well the past few years. There were factions. There were definitely factions. And you can't have that in baseball if you're going to be a good baseball team. So I think that speaks well. And I think this team can just get better. And, and I mentioned this on Twitter. I retweeted Mark's that quote. And, of course, they don't go into this in the story, but the reason that they're dealing with all these things is bad ownership. It's bad ownership. And someone wanted to take me to task and say, you're an idiot if you think this is bad ownership. And I'm like, oh, really? He goes, they've gotten more wins out of a small market team than anybody in baseball. And I'm like, first of all, who's the idiot if you think this is a small market team? That would be you, because it's not. It's the 11th largest market with the 15th largest market 70 miles down the road. It's a huge market. It's just been run like a small market by your owner. And you've bought into the Kool-Aid. You drank the Kool-Aid and all the false narratives that have been put out there that they don't have any money, blah, 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 blah. It's not true. It's never been true. And when a new ownership group comes in and runs it like it's supposed to be run and it doesn't need revenue sharing, like we don't need the $60 million in revenue sharing when we can go out and make another $150 million on our own because of the market size. And putting a new stadium in the proper place, just like the Braves did. It's a proven track record. You can do this if you have a willing owner to do it. And all these issues, and people want to blame the hurricane, and I get it. I get that part of it. But you never should have been in that situation in the first place. You should have had a new stadium long ago. Not a roof that's 10 years older than its useful life. Okay? When you're doing things like that, you can't just say, oh, a hurricane can't. Well, you should have replaced it years ago. You should have had a new stadium. And that's part of dicking around and not you're treating it with the urgency that it need to be treated and not doing the things that are needed to take the extra step to do a new stadium instead of just raking in all the money yourself. Sure, you can sit pat and not put out any money for any stadium and just sit in Tropicana Field the rest of your life and collect $150 million a year. Still would have been fine with that. But you know what happens? Hurricanes happen. And then you have to go play outside someplace else in a minor league ballpark. And you can all say, oh, who saw that coming? Well, not too hard to predict, actually. You think Tropicana Field was going to last forever? No. And so this is why you're stuck with these issues because of bad ownership, that you don't know where you're going to play, that you don't know who's going to own the team. Are there any other ownership groups in Major League Baseball where neither one of the city of Tampa or the city of St. Pete or the Pinellas County, none of the government officials will work with the owner? I don't know of one situation like that in all of sports, actually. Well, maybe John Fisher in Oakland, maybe. But even those people were willing to do a deal and get things done. So so all these issues that these players are dealing, and you don't think the players talk about that? Of course they do. Of course they do. They look around the league and see what other organizations look like. They're not dealing with playing in these stadiums, except Oakland, of course. And they have their stadium deal done, I guess. So, yeah. And credit to these players for playing through all this bullshit. Huge credit to Kevin Cash, to all of them for not whining about it like some of these other teams do when they come in here, but just getting it done. I mean, it does help that you have a much better clubhouse and much better facilities than you had at Tropicana Field if you're a player. I mean, that's kind of nice. I would think every player, if they had a choice to either go back to Tropicana Field or stay at Steinbrenner, I think they would vote to stay at Steinbrenner. And I don't think it would be close, even though it's hot. They're going on the road playing in places that are just as hot. I mean, seriously, what are we talking about here? We think they'd rather play in front of a packed house with a clubhouse and all the accoutrement they have, the great dining facilities and everything they have at Steinbrenner, or go back to the Trop where it's going to smell like mold for 3 years. Where would you think they'd rather play? Of course, they'd rather play at Steinbrenner. Not saying that's going to happen. I think it's definitely going to open next year in Steinbrenner. I think that's pretty much for sure. But I don't know. I'd rather see them play there. And I don't ever want to see them go back to the Trop, but that's just me. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back and we're going to talk some Lightning. Some very interesting things going on with the Lightning right now. Isaac Howard. This guy, Connor McDavid's name keeps coming up. I don't know what to make of this. Maybe I just don't want to talk about it because I don't want to jinx it. Interesting stuff. We'll talk about that when we come back. We're brought to you by the G's Blog Group, JETESbloggroup.com. They are local, they are trusted, and they get results. Go to G'sBlogGroup.com and get your free consultation. And On-Site Construction, FL.com. They are the folks that will restore your home and build from the ground up if you want that as well. On-Site Construction, FL.com. Back in 3. Stay with us.
Although it may seem tempting to go without healthcare insurance, the financial risk far outweighs the gain you may experience. For example, did you know if you simply broke your leg, it could cost you nearly $7,500? Put on top of that a hospital stay, you could be looking at $10,000 to $15,000. Ensuring that you don't go uncovered is so important, as according to CNBC, high medical bills are the highest contributing factor to why Americans end up taking money out of their retirement savings, or worse, find themselves filing bankruptcy. So go to don'tgouncovered.com or call 800-669-1505. Now, depending on your income, you can get plans for zero premium. Our experts will guide you through the process effortlessly. They will shop many plans and find the one that's right for you. I called and I have full health coverage through Florida Blue for zero monthly premium. It's a free call. So why go uncovered? It's a huge risk. Go to don'tgouncovered.com or call 800-669-1505. That's 800-669-1505. Spring means a time of renewal and Rays baseball, and the folks at Italiano Insurance want to welcome the Rays to Tampa and remind you it's time to renew those insurance policies with the now famous Italiano Insurance Checkup. Let the experienced and friendly agents shop your policy for the best price and coverage. Famous for saving me over $1,000 on our auto insurance last year and over $500 on our homeowners. Now that's a grand slam. Might as well get a double play by adding flood insurance and business insurance to your portfolio. Costs less than you think, and trust me, you do not want to risk your home or personal wealth. That's a big whiff. So step up to the plate and call 813-877-7799 and chat with the all-star agents at Italiano Insurance. 813-877-7799 or go to ItalianoInsurance.com. Go Rays! JP here for Riveters, our new official sports bar and grill of the JP Peterson Show. And just like our show, no BS, no corporate chain feel, just amazing, authentic folks serving great comfort food in a casual atmosphere at unheard of prices. Riveters is located just south of Raymond James and Steinbrenner Field on Dale Mabry, walking distance to the park, so free parking, great place for pregame and postgame. Let's talk about fresh food. Nothing is frozen. Burgers, wings, prime rib, roasted fresh daily, never frozen. That makes a huge difference. The mahi, the salmon, also super fresh. All our sauces are original recipes made in-house. Our Warhawk chili and fully loaded potato soup is made fresh in-house. It's the best food anywhere, served by people who actually care. Riveters on Dale Mabry, just north of 275, just south of where the Bucks and Rays play. We'll see you there. Are you looking to renovate your home, rebuild after the hurricanes, or build your dream home from scratch? Well, let me tell you about my friend Jason Fawcett and On-Site Construction. They have over 1,450 satisfied clients, 25 years of experience, over 500 designs, and a talented team of over 40 construction professionals. They believe building something exceptional begins by truly focusing on all the details, even the smallest ones. We understand that construction can be a daunting process, and we're here to make it as smooth and stress-free as possible. Quality is non-negotiable at On-Site Construction. We use the finest materials, employ the most skilled tradespeople, and adhere to the highest industry standards to deliver a product we're proud of and that you're going to love. Our project management is meticulous with a focus on completing projects on time and on budget. Your happiness is our primary driver. So give us a call at 813-579-5789 or check out our incredible website at onsiteconstructionfl.com.
Let's go! Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
On this Monday, we thank you guys for jumping aboard. I'm going to get to the comments here in a second, get to the lightning. A lot of chatter on that front. We're brought to you by the great folks at Riveters. Was there this weekend. They had a huge night on Saturday with the Jake Paul fight and the UFC 317 and their prime rib dinner, which is hugely popular. Hope you guys made it out there. I saw a bunch of you out there. RJ Martin, Kucherov, all you great listeners. We thank you guys. Put some T-shirts out there. Hope you guys. By the way, thanks for posting your pictures wearing the T-shirts. I love that, the FanStream Sports T-shirt. But Riveters, fantastic place on Saturday night, all weekend long. Now, if you're going to the Rays game tonight, you got to go to Riveters before the game. Get the great food. Happy hour will be going on 3 to 7. So you can go there, get your $3 domestic drafts before you pay $20 a beer. We call this pre-gaming, right, Nick? That's what the kids call it.
That's what the kids. That's apparently what the kids are calling it. Yes.
Yeah, the pregame. So you pay less, and then you get your buzz going before you go. Then you just keep it going with the $20 beers, right? That's how that works. Okay, just checking on the strategy there. So it works for old guys too, by the way. Go to Riveters and take advantage of the happy hour and get the great food and drinks in and head on. You can walk to the game. It's less than a mile, so challenge yourself. Or you can Uber from there because they don't mind if you park there and eat, but you better eat and stay and have a drink or two. So go see the folks at Riveters and tell them JP sent you. All right, to the comments. Good morning to all our regulars, John Hill, Kenneth McClary, Sergio Biltres, Nathan Elliott. Good morning to all of you. Daniel Rivera, hello to you. This time of year, it's best to go to the movie theaters. I agree. By the way, so real quickly, F1, Brad Pitt who I thought did a great job. It's kind of a I thought it was going to be a very formulaic, cliche movie, and there's moments like that. It's a Jerry Bruckheimer production. Joseph Kaczynski directed it. Damson Idris plays opposite Brad Pitt as the young driver and the older driver who comes back 30 years later after a horrific crash. I know it sounds a little cliche and all that stuff, but it's really well done. It's incredibly shot. The scenes, and by the way, it's a big movie theater, IMAX. Go see it at the IMAX. Get the big screen. This is not a watch at home streaming event. Get off your freaking couch. Go out there on discount movie night or whatever and see F1. I thought it was really well done. The music is great. Of course, there's a little contrived love relationship angle with Brad Pitt. You can't get away from that. But all in all, really liked it. Enjoyed a lot of cameos from the F1 guys all throughout the movie. Lewis Hamilton, Verstappen, all Lando Norris, all those guys, they're all in it. So if you love F1, you're going to love the movie. I'm kind of an iffy F1 guy, but I thought it was, for a summer movie, big movie, super fun. I'll give it an 8 out of 10.
Yeah. I haven't gotten a chance to see it yet. But I feel like we need to make going to the movies, like, that needs to make a comeback. I feel like going to the movies was always something that was like really fun. Like, I love it. You get your popcorn, you put your butter on the popcorn, you get your icy that, you paid $10 for, or like, I know it sucks. Maybe you get a little candy sprinkled in there too. And then you just sit back. And every theater you go to now, you got the reclining seats in it. Like,
super nice. Yeah.
Like, the movies need to make a comeback. And part of that is we need to be making good movies. I feel like for too long, we were not making good movies. And every movie that was coming out was like, this is an Amazon exclusive. This is a Netflix exclusive. Like, that's cool. It's got a time and place. But I do enjoy going to the movies and just getting away from life, because when you're at home watching something, you can't get away from this. But when you're in the movie theater, you're not thinking about your phone or anything else. You're locked in on the movie. So I appreciate that we have a summer blockbuster. I guess you can maybe call it a summer blockbuster. And Brad Pitt is a big time actor. He brings credibility to these movies.
Yes, he does. And I think it was really well done. That's a great point, because I don't think I picked up my phone maybe once or twice. By the way, if you're in the movie theater and you pick up your phone, can you not do it down like between your legs, hide the screen? Do you have to like hold it up like this, like everybody, like put it up in front of your face like that? Like, really? People, there's just no consideration for other people in any walk of life, but whatever. No, so you get away from the stuff at home. It just makes it special. Get out. It's a movie theater in like everybody's neighborhood. So go do it. I highly recommend that. Paul Wilson talked about that the other day. We have a breaking news. Jalen Ramsey traded to the Steelers.
Yeah, and Jalen Ramsey actually announced this himself. He beat all the breaking news guys to this. Jalen Ramsey going from the Dolphins to the Steelers, and if you're keeping track, that means the Steelers have either acquired or signed Darius Slay, DK Metcalf, Aaron Rodgers, and Jalen Ramsey in this offseason. They are putting together a hell of a football team. For what 6 years ago would have been a hell of a football team. I don't know what it looks like in 2025. The Steelers, I feel like the Steelers need to like tear this down to the studs so bad, and they just refuse to do it. Like Cam Hayward, like let's like move him at the end of it. No, we're not doing it. TJ Watt before he starts to decline, let's try. No, we're not doing it. Minka Fitzpatrick. No, we're not doing it. And then they double down, triple down. They go and get four. Darius Slay is 34. Rodgers is 41. Jalen Ramsey is like 30 or 31, which for a corner means you're basically 40. And DK Metcalf is being paid like he's a number one receiver, which I don't really think he is. Good luck, Pittsburgh. Good luck.
I'm with you on all that. And also, look at the agendas of a lot of these guys. Like, are these team guys, any of them? Yeah. No.
Back to his locker room. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Bring AB back, Tomlin.
I mean, seriously though, like, did the Steelers ever have just like normal players? Like, does that exist?
Well, I mean, you cannot. Well, they haven't done shit in the playoffs since they won the Super Bowl. What, 15 years ago? When was it? They just, I love Tomlin, but this just doesn't seem like this is going to work. It could be wrong. I mean, listen, veteran players bring a lot of great things, but in football, they get old really, really quick. Like guys just drop off the freaking cliff because it's a tough sport.
This really looks like the Steelers are trying to recreate the Bucks 2020 model. But man, it is like the most Timu version ever of it because Aaron Rodgers is not Tom Brady. That's just not, especially at this point. It's just not. Their offensive line, by the way, they keep making all these acquisitions.
Terrible.
Who's playing offensive line for the Pittsburgh Steelers this year?
Terrible. Yeah, and their defense.
Their defense was highly overrated last year, and that showed itself down the stretch.
Yeah, and they got to get TJ Watt back.
And Arthur Smith is still calling plays. You know what this is? This is 9-8. This is 9-8 written all over it. That's all this is. And people are going to throw pom poms in the air. Mike Tomlin had another season over 500, as the Pittsburgh Steelers go now a decade without winning a playoff game. That's what we're going towards here.
Yeah. I hate to speak ill of Mike T, but he's not running that deal. Well, how much do you think he's influencing personnel decisions?
A lot.
He's been there for what, 15 years, maybe longer.
Been there for almost 20 years. He took over. He took over from Bill Cowher, I think, in 2007. So we're pushing 20.
Wow. Yeah. All right, back to the comments. John Hill says kickball was on ESPN yesterday. They play a lot of small ball, bunting, and kickball. No wonder JP was the high school star. Dude, I was kicking the ball over the fence into the road at Hollywood Hills Elementary. That park could not hold me in kickball. Could not hold me. So don't even talk to me about bunting in kickball. That was never an issue. Thunder leg was going deep. Susie had to run for 2 days before she got to the ball. And then had to stop to cross the road.
Listen, I'm just saying, if Susie's playing third base, though, you damn be sure I'm throwing down a bunt.
I thought you said, "Are you going to hit a line drive and hit it right in the braces?"
No, I'm all for. I am all. Quick thing.
That's what Sternberg would do.
This is what bothers me.
Sternberg would pick out the weak length. That's what he did in elementary school. He picked out the weak length in the infield and hit a line drive right at her.
We're not teaching the fundamentals of kickball correctly in the schools today, JP. And here's an example. My wife's school, at the end of the year, at late May, they had their annual teachers versus the fifth graders kickball game. I came up to volunteer. I wanted to play in the game, but I'm a member of the Hillsborough County School faculty. So I had to sit there and watch. And I kept a very watchful eye on these fifth graders. The teachers understood. The teachers were bunting it down the line like crazy. When they had the big bopper coming up with the PE teacher, who comes out with the WWE belt and the entrance and everything.
Mr. Schultz.
Yeah, Mr. Schultz.
And his bike coaching shorts.
He's long in it,
he's got a boiler, but he was third in scoring at Kentucky back in the day.
He's got the leg to bomb it to the playground. That's great. These little fifth graders, they got no meat on their bones or anything, and they're trying to
knock them over.
They're trying to hit home runs. You know what they were doing? Pop up to shortstop.
Pop out.
Pop second base. Put the ball on the ground. Put the ball on the ground. We're not teaching the
who's managing this kickball team?
The PE teacher, apparently.
Mrs. Quadouche. She doesn't know what she's doing. Crazy. My God.
It was crazy. I'm telling the teachers wiped the fifth graders off the field. That
Come on, fifth grade. You got to be better than that. So look at a YouTube video and figure it out. Come on, kids.
A YouTube
better than
video.
That.
Let's just have some common sense.
Well, there's none of that. Come on, they have to think for themselves. Come on, there's none of that going on. God, you bring me back to those glory days. Oh. All right, let's get into some serious business here. Young Swag 69 says regarding Isaac Howard, I heard Edmonton might be interested in him. Could be a piece in a trade for McDavid. Maybe say Point, Chernak, Howard, and Jack Finley. Or is it too far-fetched?
Boy, it sounds way far-fetched.
Would you do that deal? I would in a heartbeat.
Here, put the deal back. Put the comment back up.
Point, Chernak, Howard, and Jack Finley for Connor McDavid.
I mean, duh, I would do it, but I just refuse to believe. I mean, granted, this is the same organization that traded Wayne Gretzky in his prime, so I guess we can say everything's on the table. And I believe McDavid is actually the same age that the Oilers traded Wayne Gretzky to the LA Kings.
Really?
So wouldn't that be interesting? Could you imagine, though, if they did that, though, this struck twice and they traded Wayne Gretzky at 27 or 28 and they did the same thing with McDavid? Like, it just seems like there's no way you could do this again. That's why I tried to find this so hard to believe that the Oilers will ever trade Connor McDavid. And the only way he gets out of there will him being, I don't want to play here. You haven't done enough to put the team around me that I need, and I'm going to go somewhere else. Like, I just cannot see the Oilers trading him.
Well, if the alternative is getting nothing for him or a compensatory pick or whatever the hell they would get for McDavid if he left, you got to trade him. You have to. If he doesn't want to come back and sign and extend his contract, then you got to trade him. And what are you going to get? I mean, you can literally trade for a Stanley Cup winning team. Now that description, I don't think Edmonton would take that. If they're going to make a deal with the Lightning, it has to include Vasilevsky or Kucherov.
No, I think it could. I think they probably, it would be one of Point or Kucherov, but I think they would take Point because you need the center. I think they would value the fact that they have the center, and Braden Point is, 5 years younger than Nikita Kucherov, I think, or something like that. I don't think it's maybe 5.
4 years.
4 years. So yeah. I think they would take Braden Point in this mock scenario. And as I've sort of mentioned, like when people were throwing out all these crazy scenarios about the Lightning and, it's time to trade a big piece or something, like I shut down the Kucherov stuff right away because I felt like that was the right thing. I don't think you trade Nikita Kucherov. But Braden Point, I do have some sort of like concerns of how his game is going to end.
You wouldn't, if you could be assured that you could sign McDavid. And here's the other part. Like, it's just got to be, this is going to be what, an 8-year deal for Connor McDavid at 14?
Yeah, 14 is probably putting it lightly. I think
that's with the Sunshine State no tax discount.
Maybe, but I mean
non-Canadian discount.
Yeah, because if he signs in Edmonton, we're talking like $17 million here.
Right. Which is worth about $12 million. But it's the no tax day. You can vote for no taxes and lesser taxes in Canada, by the way, if you want. You can vote for that. I think they still have democracy up there, don't they? Teetering. Yeah, so I don't know what to make of this. I think I don't know. It's all about Connor McDavid. Does he want to stay there?
I think the likely scenario is Connor McDavid signs a 3 or 4 year deal with the Oilers. And I think he says, the clock is ticking. You got 3 to 4 years, and I have 3 to 4 years. And because I don't think he wants to leave Edmonton at all. I think he wants to stay there. I think he wants to win a Stanley Cup there. So I think 3 to 4 years, you don't lock yourself in long term. And when he's 30 or 31 years old, if it hasn't worked out, well, then Connor McDavid can go get paid the biggest contract in NHL history for a second time. And he can move on from there. I mean, his game's not going to fall off magically at 30 or 31 years old.
When you're getting to the finals 2 years in a row and losing to a great team like Florida, and I'm going to vomit in my mouth when I say it, but it's true. I have the same feeling about the Lightning. Is you don't blow it up. You're right there. A couple of bounces here and there, and you're beating the Panthers. I don't want to say that in a way that I think the Lightning were just as good as the Panthers this year, because I don't think they were, but they were damn close. Every one of those games was within a goal in the third period. Right, so you're right there with the Panthers, but they, if you watch the series, you would say they played a little bit better. They played dirtier. They were more physical. We couldn't score on the power play. We don't need to relitigate that series, but the Lightning were still, and I see all this stuff on, JBB doesn't know what he's doing. He's overmatched, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, he went out in 1 year and completely remade your team from one of the worst 5-on-5 teams to one of the best in one off season with some very bold moves, including letting one of the most iconic, if not the most iconic player in the history of your franchise leave. Okay. And, You can characterize it any way you want, but that was the goal. That was the goal. They had to get better 5-on-5, and they did. And they went and got Jake Gensel, who was the best pickup in the offseason. Got a hell of a defenseman in J.J. Moser and what might turn out to be one of the great young players in this league in Connor Geekie. And you unloaded some salary that was probably a little bloated. He did a great job. We're working within the salary constraint. And don't forget, while we were winning cups, the salary cap was flat. The Panthers are winning cups, and the salary cap's going up legitimately every year, making it easier to keep your team together.
Yeah, and I would say this too. I mean, sometimes we always say the thing, history will tell us that, of something we're watching was like, all time. I don't really need history to tell me that the Florida Panthers, I truly believe this, are an all-time hockey team. Like, yeah. I mean, when I watch them, seriously though, I know we've given the Panthers plenty of flowers on this show because, you just can't avoid it. They're that good of a team, but it's true.
As are the Lightning. As are the Lightning.
As are the Lightning. But like, I mean, you could certainly, if you want to look at it from the glass half full sort of outcome, you could say the Lightning were the second best team in the Eastern Conference this year.
Yes, absolutely.
And they ran into the team right now that is looking dynastic. Like that's
2 years in a row.
2 years in a row, they ran into that team. In this year's version, by adding Brad Marchand at the deadline and adding Seth Jones at the deadline, I mean,
compared to Oliver Bjorkstrand and Yanni Gourde.
And Bjorkstrand didn't even get to play in the series. But I don't even really know if that was going to matter, to be honest, because Florida was just on that sort of trajectory at the moment. But nonetheless, like this is an all-time hockey team. And by the way, I mean, Sam Bennett's back. I mean, if you're Marchand, do you want to go anywhere else? Probably not at this point in your career. Oh. Like, what's the worst thing they're going to lose? Aaron Ekblad? Like, I mean, the Panthers are going to be right back there next year, but I think everybody, right after the series ended, had an emotional sort of reaction to it, and as did I. We are all fans at the end of the day, but you have to sit back a little bit and understand, and Julian Breezeball said this yesterday when he was speaking to the media, they made these big moves, these big swings. They did that last offseason. You can't do that every offseason, and the Lightning right now, when you look at it, like, what big move do they have the ability to make? They don't. I mean, I know they like tried to go get JJ Peterka from Buffalo, and he ends up in Utah. And they were reportedly they were in on Jonathan Toews, and he goes home to play in Winnipeg. Like, there's things out there they tried to do, and you miss on it. You don't force a move. Sometimes the best move you make is the one you don't make. Right? We hear that all the time. And
absolutely.
So I don't know what the Lightning can necessarily do, and I know that's maybe not a popular answer because again, this is still 3 first-round exits in 3 years, but other than avoid the Florida Panthers in the first round, if you want them to win a playoff series, I just don't know what else they can realistically do. That's going to be major impact.
I mean, if they were Lightning, we're spoiled. We just are. There's no question about it. As a fan base, we're spoiled. I mean, if any other team had the guy that finished second in the Vezina and is a previous Vezina winner and is still in his prime, Andrei Vasilevsky, the MVP as termed by the players, Kucherov, the top 4 Norris Trophy and Victor Hedman. What was
third in the Selke?
Third in the Selke.
I mean, Gensel scored 40 goals. Hagel scored over 35 and was a two-way beast. I mean,
and Braden Point's a 50-goal scorer, and 2 of your guys are playing on the Canadian team as 4 Nations champion. I mean. Hagel's. I mean, look at this roster. Who else? Everybody else in the league would be like, we're stacked.
I would take that. Other than Florida, if you look at the Eastern Conference, yes. I'm not trading this roster for any other situation in the Eastern Conference.
None. Not even Edmonton's.
Oh no, absolutely not.
No.
By the way, I just meant the East. There may be some out west that I could debate on, but I'm just saying in the Eastern Conference, if you're matching up Lightning versus Carolina, I'm taking the Lightning's roster. As we're projecting Toronto's to look, because it looks like Marner might be going to Vegas at this point, I'm taking the Lightning's roster over Toronto moving forward. Washington, I'm taking Tampa, and so forth. So, like, that's the thing. It's like, I do think the Lightning are the second best team in the Eastern Conference right now. The only thing they can do is fine-tune it. And listen, they bought out, or not bought out, they terminated Connor Sheary's contract yesterday. As I understand, that opens up $5 million in cap space. So it gives you a little bit of wiggle room if you want to do something. I'm sure they're probably looking at the trade market to try to see if they can add something maybe in the bottom 6 or something like that. Perbix, it sounds like Perbix, Glendening, and who's the other one? Man, I'm missing his name. I'm missing Cam Atkinson. It sounds like those 3 players, they're not re-signing back. So, Glendening, if he's not coming back, well, now you got to find a 4th line guy who can win faceoffs and play on the penalty kill like Glendening did. So you have some money to try to do that, and that's not going to cost a lot of money to do. So there's going to be additions, but I think as Julian Brisebois said yesterday, let's sort of like pump the brakes on getting overly excited that we're going to see some sort of like Jake Gensel type deal coming in. And the Isaac Howard part of this, and he spoke a lot very candidly about Isaac Howard yesterday. And it sounds like wherever Isaac Howard wants to go, the Lightning are not getting the package they want from those teams. And where the Lightning want to send Isaac Howard, he doesn't want to go. And listen, I don't know anything about Isaac Howard as a person or anything, but the way I'm just reading all this and interpreting it, I don't understand how you just don't want to just play for the Lightning. I mean, this seems ridiculous to me. Like, where else do you want to go? I just struggle to see how in the world this somehow like broke down like this. And now it seems like the Lightning are in a spot where it's becoming really difficult to trade Isaac Howard, and they still have a year to do it. But I feel like as time goes on, the return that you're probably going to get is going to continue to decrease.
Yeah, I don't get, why does he not want to play for the Lightning? Like, what? Is it just a matter of money?
Remember Eric Erlandson told us he felt like, disrespect or whatever, that they wanted him to go to the minors first.
Yeah.
Potentially bring him up. But I'm just like, you got to look at the situation. Like, who was Isaac Howard taking the spot of at that time? It's so like out of the realm to have him play in the minors, for 2 weeks or 3 weeks? Like, it wasn't like they were just saying you're going to be in the minors for at least 1 year. Pal.
Right. And maybe that irked him. And given, what we've seen from his personality, maybe he is that guy. Maybe he's Jonathan Drouin. We said it last week.
Vibes are telling me that I don't want him around. I mean, he's basically, that's what this is telling me. But do I want to get more than a 27-second for him? Hell yeah, I do. But it's proving to be really difficult right now.
Well, here's what Brisebois said yesterday. He said, we don't have anything right now for Howard. It's tricky because the teams that are willing to offer me something that I would think would be worthwhile for our organization and actually makes us better and fits with the plan we have for our organization, they haven't been able to agree to a contract with Isaac. And the teams that he feels he can get a deal done with have not been able to get a deal done with me. What this sounds like to me is that Isaac Howard is saying, okay, this is like the few teams that I want to go play for. And he's told, and those teams know it. So when JBB calls, they're like, yeah, give me a third. Give you, I don't know, throw a couple skates in too. So they know it. And so they're trying to work him over because in essence, Howard does have some leverage here, right? Because if he goes back to Michigan State, he's going to get paid NIL money, Hobie Baker winner, most points per game. And so he'll get some money. So it's not like the old days where, there was a lot of money waiting out there on the table for you if you signed in the NHL. It wasn't much. They didn't have much leverage. Now they do. So think about that. But as Eric Erlandson has told us, he doesn't want to go back there when you can be playing in the NHL. Come on now.
And I understand that he needs to be playing in the NHL now. Like for this season, Isaac Howard should be playing in the NHL, but clearly that's not going to happen. I mean, it sounds like he's probably going to go back to BC.
I don't know. I think he's just playing chicken right now. I think this is high state. And I can tell, but this because of the way Brisebois talks. He says, I don't know how long this is going to take. We're perfectly comfortable waiting until the end. We know, worst case scenario, we're getting a second-round pick out of this. If I can do better, that would be optimal for me. It would be way better for Isaac Howard because he should turn pro. That's in his best interest for his career development. We're working with them to try to get that done, but as of now, we haven't been able to do it. This sounds like a gigantic game of chicken to me. This is just two teams, and I think obviously the Isaac Howard team and the Lightning, they're like, okay, we know what's going on. Who's going to blink first? We know you don't want to go back to Michigan State. You know you want to play in the NHL and start your career, but the teams that you want, and maybe it's three teams, that's it. And they all know who they are, and they all are just waiting to get the best deal they can get. Now, at some point, one of those teams is going to go, all right, we'll give you first. All right, we'll give you this guy. Because the teams are involved now too, right? And they know who they are. That's why they're not offering what they should be offering. And JB, so they all know what's going on. So when it comes down, it's like every other negotiation like this, when it comes down to the deadline, which will probably be what? Training camp? They're going to want to get him into training camp, right? Whoever this team is. Then the deal will be made. Somebody will come up with a better deal. But right now, everybody's just going to wait to see who's going to play chicken, who's going to crack first. And I think, honestly, the Lightning are holding the cards. Because, number one, we don't have to have them. We don't have to – and I think JBB's doing the right thing. We have a great roster. We don't need Isaac Howard to put us over the top. Could he possibly? I don't know. I get the sense that I don't think he would be a good fit here. That's just kind of the feeling I got. The way this kid acts, this whole shenanigans going on, I don't think he fits the culture. And I think JBB knows that. So he may go on to be a better player somewhere else. I just don't think every other player's watching this go on. Every other player in the NHL that's played in the AHL and had to come up is watching it, and they're probably giving it the side eye, just like Jonathan Durant got the side eye.
And I would tell you this too. Yeah, and I would tell you this too. When you look at, you might say, okay, well, not having Isaac Howard, you look at like the future of the Lightning and sort of the young players they have. You look at it and you're like, well, the cupboard's a little dry. But I would say this. I could say, based on the way I saw Gage Gonsalves play last year, particularly in that 5-game series, is it out of the realm of possibility that he could surprise us and score 20 goals next year?
No way. I mean, absolutely.
I think it's on the table. I mean, Geekie, I think Connor Geekie. I mean, he's obviously coming along, at a slower rate at the moment, but he obviously has big time potential, and he's even younger, right? So, I mean, I think Gage Gonsalves honestly is like the X factor here, where I think you could see a scenario where he scores 20 goals and playing the role that playing on the line where Isaac Howard would be playing, and then we're not even talking about it anymore.
I agree. I think we've got some good young players in the pipeline. I would like to get something for Isaac Howard that fits what we need, which I would say is maybe there's a power forward out there in this league that's, scoring 10 to 15 goals a game, that's young and, coming up that might fit on our fourth line with a little bit of nasty in him. That's what I would love to see. Or a defenseman that kind of fits that category. I mean, I think we need a little bit of nasty and a little bit of edge and a little bit of more weight to throw around than Yanni Gourde's 172. I love Yanni. He's a pain in the ass. He is what he is. Love what he brings to the table. But what he doesn't bring is size. And I think we need a little bit more of that to be a little bit harder to play against in the playoffs. Is that fair? And I think with Isaac Howard, that's available. You should be able to get that player for Isaac Howard with his upside. And I think if JBB can turn and more, by the way, I think you could get something more in a developmental defensive player who's got some size to him as well. And I think that's what JBB would really like to get. Thoughts?
Yeah, I would say like maybe because you're mentioning like a power forward potentially and something like that the Lightning need. I don't disagree with that, but also I think defensively I could use a third. I could use a third pairing guy. You also have to keep in mind McDonough is 36 years old, and Julien Brisebois said they're not going to engage in extension talks on him, which I think is the right decision for a 36-year-old. Let's see how the season plays out. McDonough was fantastic last year. No guarantee is going to be this year. And even Hedman too, as he continues to age, I think we've already seen a dip in his game from a defensive standpoint. And he obviously had the injury in the playoffs too. So there's some question marks there. I almost feel like I would almost prioritize trying to get a defenseman in. But the thing is, the defensive market is very tough right now because guess what? Everybody wants a defenseman. And teams don't want to. I would agree.
Michael LaRue says if Isaac Howard doesn't play in the NHL this year, he's making a huge mistake. It's in his best interest to start his 3-year rookie contract this season. Absolutely. And JBB knows that. So in the end, yes, Howard has some leverage, but I think the Lightning have the most leverage, as I've described it. And I think JBB's playing it right. Michael also mentions Lightning to terminate Connor Sheary's contract, saves $2 million on the cap, gives the Lightning more wiggle room. Thank you, Connor Sheary. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, God. B says Romano's defending Stu on the Jay Retro Show. I think Romano was on this weekend with Jay. Good luck with that.
By the way, I was scrolling through Twitter here for a second, and I actually there was actually more to that Steelers trade, which I'm not sure if you got a chance to see yet, but they actually did trade Mika Fitzpatrick back to the Dolphins in this trade. And they also acquired, the Steelers actually acquired Jonnu Smith. So it's actually Jonnu Smith and Jalen Ramsey for Mika Fitzpatrick and some picks.
Interesting. That's a lot. There's a lot going on there.
Arthur Smith loves him some Jonnu Smith. This is now like the fourth team that Jonnu Smith has been with Arthur Smith with. Kind of crazy. But there you go.
Interesting. Romano says Patrick Z's group has not said anything about a stadium location. Hadn't said anything to you, John Romano. Said plenty to me. Let it go. Let it go, John. Stu's on his way out. Your protector is on his way out. Don't get me going. All right, let's hit a break here. We're brought to you by the great folks. Yes, an Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799. It's not how much you make, folks. It's how much you keep. So get your insurance shopped around. All of your insurance, auto insurance, homeowners insurance. Make sure you're with a good company that's going to pay when you need them to pay. Italiano will make sure that they're not going to put you with some fly-by-night company that's going to fight you at it tooth and nail every time you have to make a claim. So that's important as well. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799. Back in 3. Stay with us.
Hey, JP here for my concierge medical professional, Chris Lugo, PA. You've heard him on the show for a couple of years where he shares invaluable medical, nutritional, and supplement advice. With Chris, it's like having a medical provider as your best friend. What I love about this concierge service is the convenience and support he offers. I can text or call him 24/7 with any questions or concerns, and he'll promptly call in a prescription if needed. No office visits or copays required. It gives me peace of mind knowing I have someone genuinely invested in my health, not just focused on insurance profits. And the best part, the Bay Area Modern Medical Center's personal concierge service is more affordable than you might think. Don't let insurance companies dictate your health care. Take control of your health and wellness today. Visit BAMMC.com for more information and to schedule your initial free consultation. Empower yourself and take charge of your personal health with BAMMC.com. Celebrate summer with the largest jewelry collection at the Gold and Diamond Source. Yes, summer is here, and it's the perfect time to shine with the exquisite June birthstones, pearl, alexandrite, and moonstone. Each gemstone carries its own unique significance and style, making them the perfect thing for any summer occasion. Celebrate the milestone of a 30th anniversary with the timeless beauty of pearl, the traditional stone for this very special occasion. Right now, enjoy 5 years of interest-free financing. You can own a stunning $5,000 ring and pay only $83 a month with zero interest over 5 years. Shop online and get 15% off the June birthstones that include pearl, alexandrite, and moonstone. The perfect opportunity to add a touch of summer sparkle to your collection. As always, make the summer unforgettable and visit the Gold and Diamond Source today, the only place to get that unforgettable engagement ring. Great folks over there. Tell them JP sent you. 3800 Omerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man, Scott Jeeves. If you're going to hire an attorney, do you want some guy looking for a quick settlement and a quick buck, or do you want an attorney with some chops? Scott is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator. Been practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. He is a peer-reviewed AV preeminent-rated civil trial lawyer. They just don't hand out those classifications. He's been the lead class action counsel on many complex consumer protection cases and has handled hundreds of serious personal injury cases. He's dedicated his career to protecting injured victims and is committed to vigorously representing you. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. Personal injury, and personal attention. Call for a free case evaluation. That's 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. The Jeeves Law Group. Summer is coming. Do not get caught with your unit unprepared. Your AC unit, of course. The awesome folks at Third Generation Plumbing and AC have a special going on right now. You get a free 1-year maintenance package with any purchase of a new unit. They have special 60-month financing as well, so you don't need a huge chunk up front. Third Generation has an impeccable reputation built over 30 years of doing business. They do plumbing, AC, mechanical work, anything you need around the house. They are trusted folks. Go to the website and read the 5-star reviews. Deidre said, great company that always arrives timely. We have used them for our AC both in home and business and have been very happy. The staff is knowledgeable and professional. I would recommend Third Generation again and again. So give Third Generation a call at 813-961-8024 or go to thirdgenerationplumbing.com.
Ciao, Paolo Tini here, owner of Caffè Paradiso, voted number 3 People's Choice Award on Open Table. I want to thank all our loyal family of customers that have been enjoying our great traditional Italian dishes we make from scratch every day. It's a great family story we're proud of. Our family moved from Rimini, Italy in 1984. My dad, Caesar, started Donatello, and that's where I got the start in the restaurant business. I started Caffè Paradiso on South McDill in 1995, and we've been there ever since. From our traditional ossobuco, a veal slow roast for 4 hours, to our daily fresh catch, the Gruppo Paradiso, with a piccata sauce and lobster claw meat, homemade pasta like lasagna, farfalle salchicha, which is a bow tie pasta homemade with fresh sausage. Hold on a minute, JP's favorite.
I love it.
So come and have a glass of wine with me on South McDill. Get a reservation on Open Table and see all our 5-star reviews. Ciao, see you soon at Paradiso.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports. Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
Yeah, do that too. Welcome back to the JP Peterson Show.
I love it when you hit the wrong button. Isn't that just great?
Oh, I do it all the time. We're brought to you by the Gold and Diamond Source. That's last day, actually. Last day in June. So June only has 30 days, right? Yeah. June has 30 days. So that means last day to get 15% off the amethyst, the moonsite, and the pearls. So that's the gemstones for the month. And of course, always the place to go get your engagement ring, or if you're looking for a gift for a graduation or birthday or anything like that. And the place to go. It's the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Overton Road. The best selection, the best folks over there. Their diamond savings account means your diamond never loses its value. And please don't go with a fake diamond. That's a bad way to start your marriage. The Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Overton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. We got to get into just a little bit about B says, not saying Romano's right. It's just another opinion. Absolutely. It's another opinion that's been pro Stu forever. It's very apparent, and we've seen it for quite some time, that they just parrot what Stu Sternberg says. And what Stu Sternberg says most of the time is a lie. And you got to print I get it. You got to print the quotes and let them go where they want to go. But they seem to take the quotes and then, develop into these false narratives that have been very counterproductive and have enabled Stu to run this scam for so long. And that's it. I have nothing against Romano. It's just the way that, these commentaries are made. It gives credibility to this nonsense, like giving credibility to this two stadium, two cities things. Complete nonsense. Major League Baseball Players Association was never, ever going to allow that to go in. So to give it life and credibility, it doesn't help the process. The same thing with the St. Pete Stadium deal and everything else. The fact that the Rays don't have money and Stu can't afford to pay payroll and blah, 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 blah. How do you defend Stu Sternberg? At this point, nobody in St. Pete government will work with him. Nobody in Pinellas County government will work with him. Nobody in Hillsborough County will work with him. All the Major League Baseball owners want him out. These are all facts. Facts. His partners had to sue him and won a humongous settlement against him. The Players Association has sued the Rays umpteenth time for not using their revenue sharing money for payroll. Like, what can you point? Yes, has the team played well on a low budget? Yeah, he's the one that's forced the low budget. And they've won wild card banners. Woohoo! Not won a World Series. And it's not Stu making the moves. It's his front office. How do you defend this guy? And not to mention the fact that in terms of the fans who deserve a stadium in the right location that is a up-to-date, state-of-the-art stadium like every other big market gets to build and does build, we deserve that. We should have had it 5 years ago. But he never wanted it because he didn't want to spend his money and risk his money when every other owner does. He's the reason, despite what you've reported for so long, John Romano, Stu is the reason we don't have a stadium that's completely exposed now, but yet you can still sit there and defend this guy? He's held up the redevelopment of the Trop site for 8 years if he'd have done the deal in Tampa. He's held up the construction on the Tampa side. I mean, how do you defend this guy? And it's not personal. It's just all the way he's done. Unbelievable. You're still defending him. Oh, well, we've won a lot of games. There's a lot more to it than just winning games. And you haven't won a championship. Getting to the wild card and scoring no runs is not what I would say is a great success. Especially when you could, if you augmented your team with some real experienced bats, and you actually gave them a payroll to work with in Eric Neander, you could probably get yourself over the top into real contention. Not to mention the just ridiculous amount of lies over the years. I mean, I don't know how the hell you can, I don't know what you can say besides the fact that they've won games, which, again, if you're winning regular season games is not the goal. It's called winning World Series. Douglas Batista says, ignore Romano, poor and lazy reporting, spreading false narratives, and always a step behind. Yeah, but I don't want to get personal with Mr. Romano either. It is what it is. I have a different opinion, and we say it. First name greatest says, kickball bragging is not the flex you think. Duh. It's a joke. It's called a bit. I'm not bragging about in reality.
I will brag at the fact that our softball team won our season opener 17 to nothing last Thursday. I will brag.
There we go. Nathan Elliott, you had to go here. I was not allowed to whip out his thunder leg in front of little Susie in elementary school. You really had to do that?
Jesus.
Taking it out of context. As Rick says, ha ha, Nathan Diddy Elliott. Frank says that was the proposed shade on Ray Retcher's podcast. Not sure if it's a real rumor. I don't think Edmonton would do that trade. Would you? Point, Chernak, Howard, and Finley. Again, if he's going to leave and you're getting nothing, you're getting a 50-goal scorer. I mean, if I'm the Lightning, I do that trade in a heartbeat. If I have some certainty that I'm going to keep McDavid for 5 years. I mean, because you think you're losing Chernak, obviously.
I'm just thinking about what else the Lightning would have to jettison to bring in Connor McDavid, because it's not as simple as, well, they just trade these players and you have Connor McDavid. Like, eventually other players would have to go to accommodate McDavid and his salary.
Well, I mean, for this year, no. I think that because Point makes like 9, Chernak makes what?
I'm just saying, once you sign him to that extension.
Yeah.
But McDavid has already proven he's that kind of player that'll raise the entire ship and can go mental and get you to a Stanley Cup.
Right. I think without Chernak, Point, those guys that you mentioned, obviously Howard doesn't play for us, and neither is Finley. You put McDavid in with Cooch and Cirelli and Hagel and Vasilevsky and that whole group. I'll go to war with Florida then. I'll do that. I think we could beat Florida with that group.
I tell you what, the power play, nobody would ever take a shot on the power play with Nikita
That's
Kucherov and Connor McDavid running power play. I don't know whoever would take a shot. Either of them won't be shooting at all.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, like, there's a lot of smoke. There's a lot of smoke with the Connor McDavid stuff. If he wants to come here and play, and you can figure it out with the cap going up every year, I think if you're JBB, you cannot ignore that. You got to figure it out. Even if you're like, yeah, it's going to leave some holes in our defense, you'll figure it out. You'll figure it out because then remember, you're going to, there's going to be some veteran defensemen in the league that are going to want to come play in Tampa to get that Stanley Cup and maybe play at a discount, right? So if you have Connor McDavid and pay him for the next 4 or 5 years in the because remember 12 Edmonton, like straight up. So would he take a little less money to come here and play? Maybe. He's a pretty intense dude and he wants to win a cup. Can you imagine Cooch and McDavid? Well, obviously not. They wouldn't play. Well, they might play together at some points. Sure, they would. Wow. All right. Wanted to move on to this topic as well. Can Baker win MVP? Says Buck Spaceman. Nope, because he's not a high-profile candidate. Could he be in the convo? Yes, but he's not a realistic choice. Unfortunately, I'd say he's top 10, but not top 5 quarterback. Interesting to note. Our good friends at Joe Bucks Fan wrote this the other day, and this they were picking up on an article written by Bucky Brooks, very popular at NFL.com, who was tackling the topic: could Mayfield win an MVP? Current odds to win the MVP plus 4,000 for Baker Mayfield. I'm going to take a little bit of that action, by the way. He says, if Mayfield matches his 2024 numbers, 71.4% completion rate, 4,500 passing yards, and 41 touchdowns, and the Buccaneers win the NFC South for a 5th year in a row, I won't be surprised if the former number 1 overall pick rises to the top of the MVP conversation. This offseason, Tampa Bay added another talented pass catcher, Ibuka, to a stellar supporting cast that features a pair of rugged Pro Bowlers, Evans and Godwin, with exceptional ball skills and playmaking ability. Bucky Irving commanding attention as a big play specialist in the backfield. Mayfield can rack up impressive production, directing an explosive offense built on low-risk throws to a collection of dynamic weapons. With the Bucs climbing the ranks as a dark horse contender, Mayfield could ride off with the league's top honor at season's end. That's from Bucky Brooks. All that sounds right to me. And those numbers that Baker put up last year were exceptional. They were exceptional. Could he do it again? Chances are 41 touchdown passes 2 years in a row, although he's been high 30s, 40s 2 years in a row. What did he have the year before? 36? I think it was 35, 36.
28 the year before.
The year just 28? Wow.
28.
40 is going to be tough to get 2 years in a row, especially with a ground game as good as they have.
Listen, I don't think it's realistic, and part of this is that I don't think he's going to have the PR on his side to win it, because the names who are going to be involved in this stuff is always. I mean, Josh Allen's going to do something. He's going to have gaudy statistics, both with his arm and with his legs. Ditto for Lamar Jackson. If Jaden Daniels continues his ascension, he's certainly going to be a part of the conversation. Last year, Jamar Chase just put up like an unreal season. He was a part of the conversation. I think Jared Goff actually finished 4th in MVP voting. And that's what I went to look at this morning was, where did Baker finish last year in MVP voting with the season that he put up with the 71% completion, 4,500 yards, and 41
Only
touchdowns?
4 guys have ever done that before.
Yeah, and he finished 11th. He even actually finished behind Mahomes finished 6th, which is basically because he's Patrick Mahomes. He did not have an MVP caliber regular season. We know that.
His numbers weren't even close to Baker.
Justin Herbert finished 9th. Sam Darnold finished 10th, and Baker finished 11th. So Baker just had that season, and he finished 11th. And I got to be honest, as much as I love Baker, I don't know if it's realistic to expect going forward that this is going to be the norm for him. I mean, you have to be honest with ourselves. Baker Mayfield last year completed 71% of his passes. His career average is still 63.5. Like this was a huge jump from that one metric for Baker Mayfield. The 41 touchdowns, his career high before that was the 28 the year prior. The 4,500 yards that he threw for was a career high, topping the 4,044 he threw the year before that. So, and you had an all-world play caller and Liam Cohen, obviously steering the ship and everything, and Baker still made the throws, of course. I'm not diminishing Baker's season whatsoever. I'm just curious, is last year the norm that we can expect from Baker Mayfield, or is he going to find some sort of happy medium, hopefully, between what he was in 2023 and in 2024? And does that spell MVP to me? I would probably say it does not. But that's nothing against Baker Mayfield. That's not a knock or anything. But if we're just strictly asking, can Baker Mayfield win the MVP award, I would lean no.
I mean, the fact that he was 11th last year is a freaking joke. I mean, how is that even possible? And some of the guys that you said ahead of him, I mean, are you effing kidding me? Like, it's weird because those are not joke numbers. I mean, it's not like he put up those numbers with a non-winning team, like he's just padding his stats in blowouts where they're having to come from. I mean, if the team won 10 games last year, they won the division.
I'm looking at the voting last year and those, just focusing in on those 11 because those are the 11 that received some sort of votes. Okay, I probably would have had Baker in the 6 or 7 range. I wouldn't have voted him over Josh Allen, Lamar, Saquon, Burrow, and I would have had Jaden Daniels above him too. And I probably would have had Baker right after that. So I probably would have had him around 6. I think Jaden, if you're looking most valuable to your team, I don't think you can argue Jaden Daniels was more valuable to his team for what he did.
Well, you can always argue about what that means, but again, this was not a very good defensive team last year, the Buccaneers. Very average, well below average in passing defense, 29th. They were, and if you watch the games, Baker was critical in so many ways to making big plays on third down. They were 50%, 50.6%, led the league in third down conversion. And a lot of those were Baker Mayfield runs and the energy that he gave his team. I mean, I know I'm completely biased here, but I'm also more informed because I think 95% of those MVP voters never watched an entire Buccaneers game. Not one.
They probably watched the ones that were on primetime. Yeah. The Bucs didn't play well in the primetime one.
Yeah, right. I mean, I watched every single play probably 4 to 5 times. I watched the Lions win and the Redskins loss this past weekend because, it was one of those weekends. On Saturday, I just watched some Bucs football. You can go on YouTube and watch the game in an hour and a half. And that Redskins game especially. In fact, I wrote some notes down about that. I want to talk a little bit more about it because I think it's very instructive about this team moving forward because the Redskins are going to be one of those teams. That's right, I said Redskins. One of those teams that are going to be in the mix for a couple of years to come. I think very much so in the NFC. So we got to get over that hump, so to speak. And but go watch Baker Mayfield on 3rd and 9. Run over 4 guys to get a first down. Go watch him on 3rd and 17 run through 2 more guys to get a first down. Go watch him make big throw after big throw on 3rd and 4th down in tight windows. I mean, Baker Mayfield drives this offense. And I know people, Grizzard was the architect of 3rd down. Who was the architect of 3rd down? Baker effing Mayfield. That's who the architect of 3rd down was. And not to take away from Josh Grizzard. That's good. Having those packages, but I'm telling you, Baker Mayfield's changing the play at the line of scrimmage most of the time. And in big situations, he would do that time and time again last year. So I think,
I mean, the mere fact though that we're even talking about Baker Mayfield, like the fact that we're at the point where after 2 seasons of watching Baker Mayfield, we're asking, can he win the MVP? I mean,
unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. Crazy. It's crazy we're even asking that question, to be honest.
But he's earned that.
Yeah, he actually has earned it. The fact that even though I would have had him ranked higher in the MVP voting last year, the fact that he actually even finished 11th. If you would have told us anybody when they signed him for $4 million, hey, Baker Mayfield's going to finish 11th in MVP voting next year. Cool. Fantastic. It worked. And I think that's the overarching point here is the fact that we're talking about this tells you that the Buccaneers have, I think, absolutely have found their franchise quarterback. But even in general, it's not just Baker, but like, is it possible for a Tampa Bay Buccaneer to even win the MVP at this point? Because, I mean, I think somebody had commented it too. If Tom Brady, the season he had in 2021, couldn't give him the MVP, it's fair to question, and that's Tom Brady. It's fair to question if like there's anything a Buccaneer can do to win the MVP.
Yeah, as Bucks Mason said, the Saints game ruined MVP candidacy for Brady. I mean, you can say that, and I think that's true, but that's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. When did Buffalo become such a great market that Josh Allen's got to be up there? Although, look, he's earned it too. He's earned it. It's consistently been great. But I'll say something about Lamar and Josh both. They're getting a little longer in the tooth, and there comes a time.
Hold on. Josh Allen is 29. Baker's older than him.
Yeah, and how many years has he been running the ball? 100 times a season? What's he in his 8th year?
I don't think I don't think he's falling off. It's also part of this too. This is MVP voting across the board. We saw this in the NHL, obviously, and we talked about Nikita Kucherov, Nathan McKinnon. There's always a year where if like 3 or 4 players have identical numbers or whatever, they tend to lean towards, okay, well, who doesn't have one yet? And who deserves their MVP yet now? You know what I mean? And I feel like this year, I think the groundswell is probably going to be around Joe Burrow. The same way last year, the groundswell was around Josh Allen. Because a lot of people felt Lamar Jackson should have won the MVP last year. They gave it to Josh Allen. I think it's because it was like, okay, this is Josh's time. I think this year people are going to go, okay, it's Joe Burrow's time. I think that's what's going to end up happening, and there's always going to be someone next before you even think about Baker Mayfield's name.
Well, I'm going to tell you this, though. If the Bucks go out and win 13 games and he puts up those numbers, he's going to be in the MVP conversation.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Winning 9 games or winning 10 games is a lot different than winning 12, 13, and 14 like these other quarterbacks.
Exactly, and I think that's a big part of it. I do. And that's going to take better game management, among other things. It's going to take better defense, especially in pass defense late in the games. By the way, we're going back and watching that Redskins game. Oh, just chunk yardage after chunk yardage in the passing game. Wide open guys in the end zone. Jesus criminy. You remember how bad the pass defense was when you go back and watch that game. It was bad.
I don't think I want to go back.
Really bad.
I don't want to watch it.
You need to watch it.
I don't think I need to. I kind of would like to just turn the page on that completely.
No, you need to watch it. Because we're all so bullish on the Buccaneers, and you got to remember why they didn't advance last year. And it's because of that pass defense. It was awful. It was awful. And the game management in that game was awful. Terrible.
Yeah, but, everybody wants to focus in on a botched snap at the wrong time, though, right?
Right, exactly. I mean, Jiminy Christmas. The chunk yardage on key plays on 3rd and 4th down had nothing to do with it. But, yeah. And again, I mean, they weren't shy on going forward on 4th down, but the Bucs certainly were.
Speaking of that, by the way, because I think it's part of this discussion. I know it came out on Friday, so I know you probably talked about it on Friday. But with the contracts extensions and everything with Leicht and Bowles, I don't think we really need to talk about Jason Leicht getting a contract extension. I mean, that was obvious. Would you have? Go ahead, say it. I don't want to, but would it have been better to? I don't know. I see it from both sides. Like, you let the season play out and see what happens and go from there with Todd Bowles. But at the end of the day,
you can't do that.
You can't do that necessarily. And he doesn't want to have that behind thinking of that. He wants to have the security at least. I don't think it necessarily takes him completely off the hot seat, to be honest with you.
No, of course not.
I don't think that's what it does. But I don't know. I guess if you're going to give Leicht an extension, you give Bowles an extension. But
here's the thing. Here's what I said on Friday. I'll repeat this. This is the Glazers being smart and being good owners. it was Tim had a great perspective on it, obviously, because he covers the Cowboys, and he recounted all. He said the fact that McCarthy didn't have a contract extension was a constant talking point all year long in every press conference, every get up, everybody was talking about it, right? And it turned out to be that was an issue. That was an issue. And why did Jerry Jones not sign? Because he wasn't sure about him moving forward. Well, you know what? You think the Bucs are cocksure about Todd Bowles moving forward? No, they're not. But they're willing to eat the contract if they have to fire him. I don't think Jerry was willing to do that. And so this is good ownership taking care of an issue, so it's not an issue, and maybe having to eat some money down the road. Now, if this team goes 8-9 and the Falcons win the division and beat us twice with this roster, and there's no significant injuries, I'm talking about Baker Mayfield, Tristan Wirfs, a bunch of, rash of injuries, then do you think Todd Bowles is going to survive that? No way.
No way. I still think, regardless of the contract extension and however long security it gave him or anything, the money, I still will maintain that Todd Bowles and the Buccaneers in general, it's not just Todd Bowles, but he's obviously the head coach, they have to go further in the playoffs this year. There's no excuses about it. If they have another first-year exit, or if they miss the playoffs, and maybe part of the reason why, again, is because of a porous pass defense, I mean, we're not going to stop talking about it and talking about his future. I hope it doesn't come to that. I think me and you both have always said we love Todd Bowles as a person, and
100%.
We see the value in the fact that, at times the last couple of years when things have gone sideways for this team, the locker room never did. And a lot of that could be attributed to Todd Bowles and him keeping everybody together. He's got the respect of that locker room, and that stuff matters.
100%. It really does.
I don't want to downgrade that whatsoever, but at the end of the day, they have to win more. They have to win a playoff game, I think, at least. I think that, and I don't think that's asking for too much when you look at this roster.
And I mentioned that Redskins game because you think the Glazers and Jason Light were happy with the fact that they lost a home playoff game to a rookie quarterback who toasted them and constantly wide open wide receivers running all over the field.
Yeah, the same issues.
Yeah, same game management. You think they can honestly say, now are they going to say anything publicly? No. You think they're honestly happy about that? And I'm not saying that's all on Todd Bowles. I'm not saying that at all. It's not all on him. There were plenty of mistakes to go around. But if you're being honest, and again, I've said this many times, 2 years ago, if they lose that game to the Carolina Panthers, that they won 9-0 on the last game of the season, if they lose that game, I think Todd Bowles would have gotten fired. If they didn't make the playoffs last year, I think there's a pretty good chance that Todd Bowles would have gotten fired. And that was close.
There were various points.
They were an Anthony Nelson strip away from not being in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So, and that's not to denigrate. I'm not saying Todd Bowles should be fired. No. He brings a lot of good stuff to the table, and who else are you going to bring in? You're not making your team better by just changing the head coach. You're not.
I just feel like
you do better by.
Yeah, with the end of the day, with Todd Bowles as your head coach, you're just never I shouldn't say never, because there's certain times where he absolutely puts on a defensive masterpiece of a game plan, and the players go out and execute it. But more often than not, with Todd Bowles as your head coach, you're not going to outcoach the other team. I think that's a fair statement to make. You're gonna win it in a completely different way, where you're not gonna go, man, they won that game today because of Todd Bowles did this or Todd Bowles did that. More often than not, that's not going to be the case, and that's fine. I mean, the Buccaneers have won games while he's been here, but I'm just thinking big picture, and I always come back to that question: can you see the Buccaneers winning a Super Bowl and Todd Bowles being the head coach? That's always going to be the question. And right now, I can't even say like they've won one playoff game with him. Like that's it. That's all you have to go off of. So how can we even talk about Super Bowl yet with him?
No, I agree. And all you can do is say, let's get better at game management. Okay, we're hired a game management full-time guy. Okay, good. Let's get better defensively. Okay, we've used the 2 of our top 3 picks on corners. Okay, we invested a free agent in the best pass rushing option that was out there. So if you're Jason Light, you went, okay, here you go. Now fix this thing. You should not be 29th in pass defense. Fix it. And if they don't, as much as we love Todd, this is a business. You're directing the defense. You're the passing. You're the guru of pass defense. I mean, it's not going to be good enough. Nope. And that's the way this league works. And Todd knows that. If I said to him, hey, you're going to go 8-9 and your defense is going to be 29th in pass defense again, you think you survive that? He'd probably go, no. We got to be better than that. We got to be way better than that. And I think they will be. I do. I really do. If they're not, I'll be surprised. I think they're going to be way better defensively, especially in pass defense. All right, we got to hit one more break, and then we'll come back and finish up with your comments. So, quick break. We're brought to you by Cafe Paradiso. Oh, Scotty and Fitz and I went there on Friday night. We had lasagna as our starter, split of lasagna as our starter. Then I had, he got the veal marsala, unfreaking believable. I got the veal, the chicken parm, so good. Traditional Italian the way it's meant, folks, and it's absolutely fantastic. Great atmosphere. Go to Cafe Paradiso on South McGill. You will absolutely love it. In Sao Paulo, JP sent ya. All right, back at 3. Stay with us.
JP here for Riveters, the official sports bar and grill of the JP Peterson Show. We're located just south of Ray J and Steinbrenner Field, so it's a great pre- and post-game spot, and the happy hour is amazing. Monday through Friday, 3 to 7. Check out these specials. $3 Bud Light drafts, $4 domestic bottles, $5 wells, $6 premium wells, $6 cocktails like margaritas. It's unheard of. And the Riveters food is freshly made daily. No freezers. Happy hour food specials include $3.50 tacos and barbecue sliders. $6 you get edamame or chips with the beer cheese, which is amazing. $8 buffalo chicken dip, my favorite. The truffle fries, chili cheese fries, also $8 at happy hour. As well as other specials throughout the week, including Taco Tuesdays, you get $3 tacos, and Wing Wednesdays, 7 o'clock to 1 a.m. in the morning, you get our amazing wings, 5 for $5 and $5 wells and wines. That's a good Wednesday night. So if you're tired of the preppy, overpriced, generic sports bars, come see the amazing, friendly bartenders and staff at Riveters, where customer service really matters. Riveters, just south of where the Rays and Bucks play. We'll see you there. Going through a medical emergency without health care insurance can cause you to go into crippling debt. In most scenarios, people are forced to either break into their retirement funds or worse, they're forced to file for bankruptcy. The sad truth is that health care insurance is crucial in today's day and age. Look, I get it. Many of you think you're never going to get sick and health insurance is really expensive. Well, we can help you out with that. Depending on your income, we can find great plans at huge discounts. God forbid you get cancer, a car accident. It could literally ruin you financially for life. So make the call and find out. Even though the open enrollment period is over, you may have some qualifying life events that can help you get covered right away. It can be very complicated, a very intimidating process, but we can help. Go to our website and check out all the 5-star reviews about our helpful agents. Go to don'tgouncovered.com or call 800-669-1505. That's 800-669-1505. Spring means a time of renewal and Rays baseball, and the folks at Italiano Insurance want to welcome the Rays to Tampa and remind you it's time to renew those insurance policies with the now famous Italiano Insurance Checkup. Let the experienced and friendly agents shop your policy for the best price and coverage. Famous for saving me over $1,000 on our auto insurance last year and over $500 on our homeowners. Now that's a grand slam. Might as well get a double play by adding flood insurance and business insurance to your portfolio. Costs less than you think, and trust me, you do not want to risk your home or personal wealth. That's a big whiff. So step up to the plate and call 813-877-7799 and chat with the all-star agents at Italiano Insurance. 813-877-7799 or go to ItalianoInsurance.com. Go Rays! JP here for my friend Jason Fawcett, owner of On-Site Construction. They do residential and commercial renovations and new construction. As a leading home builder and general contractor, On-Site Construction prides itself on transforming homes through superior craftsmanship, dedication to client vision, and an unmatched commitment to quality and service. It's about building relationships. We take the time to understand our clients' needs, preferences, and budgets so that we can deliver a personalized experience tailored to their unique vision. From the initial designs to the final touches, we're there every step of the way, ensuring that the end result mirrors your vision. Here are some testimonials from happy customers. G. Gibson says, no hidden costs, very honest, reliable, creative, and communicates well. Reasonable and fair with their pricing, no hidden costs. C. Smith said, did not disappoint. I'm very happy with the work. This company really cares and will take care of it. So if you're just thinking about building or renovating, give us a call and let's see what's possible. 813-579-5789 or check out our website at onsiteconstructionfl.com.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by OnSiteConstructionFL.com. Jason is the owner over there. If you need some restoration work done for your home, maybe you hired another contractor that wasn't so good, he is your man. Looking to build from the ground up, they can do that too. Add-ons to your home, which is a very difficult thing to do. They have tons of experience in this category. So over 1,400 jobs done in the local area, 20 years experience. On-site construction. If you're looking to build a home, they're the folks to do it. And they'll give you a free consultation. Jason will come out to your house, look at it, tell you what's possible. Go check out their website, onsiteconstructionfl.com. You'll get some great ideas there. And get that free consultation, because then you build a relationship with your contractor. Something happens in a hurricane, you're not scrambling to find somebody, people coming from out of town. You got to hire. You're already in the queue to get preferred treatment. So that's a great idea to do this. OnSiteConstructionFL.com is the website. Go there, make contact with Jason, and tell him JP sent you. All right, let's finish up the comments here. The Lightning did not draft anyone under 6 feet tall this year, says Michael LaRue. You think something's going on there? I think so too. B says Arthur Smith couldn't coach himself out of a paper bag. I would agree with that. First name greatest said Arthur Smith know how to expose Todd's defense, even with Desmond Ridder as quarterback. Ooh, ouch, babe. Cody says 620 defense Stu as well. That's why I like your show, JP. Thank you very much. We different opinions. They're obviously entitled to theirs, but as I enumerated the issues earlier, I'm right. Scott Rasnick says it's going to be hard to play baseball this week versus the A's with all this rain in the area. I don't know why that just like irks me. It's like, it's part of it. We'll figure it out. Guess what? It might not rain. Might get the games in. Happens all the time. Isn't there days where they go, oh, it's going to rain and then it just stops for a few hours and you get it in? Maybe we won't. Yeah, maybe we will.
Even yesterday, it said thunderstorms at 6, and then when I'm on hole 18 at 2:30 in the afternoon, it's a downpour. So I don't know.
Yeah. Rick says Romano knows two things: the Rays win lots of games, and Stu's checks don't bounce. Ooh, wow! I would never accuse him of taking money. I would never do that. I just think they're just maybe the company he works for has gotten some money from Stu Sternberg. I don't know, maybe. But of course, in a very legal way for ads and things like that. So yeah, absolutely. Any updates on the sale of the Rays? Do you say hypothetically that it could be done before the All-Star break? That's a little ambitious, before the All-Star break. But as I said on Friday, sooner rather than later. I think they're very much into the process, way more than you would know, according to some sources. So I think a lot of the legwork has been done. The price has been agreed upon. They do have the money. I think everything is in place for this to move forward rather quickly. But again, we're dealing with Stu Sternberg. But Major League Baseball is, for the most part, obviously running this deal. Otherwise, it would go on forever, and we know that. So, yeah, I think it's possible that there is an announcement soon. So I don't know. If I put days on it, then you're like, oh, what happened, JP? You said it was going to be done in a week. I'm trying to give you context to it. I'm not in the negotiations on a daily basis. I just get some tidbits here and there. So I'm just telling you kind of contextualize what I think is going on. Louis Frozen Pirate Podcast say it may not have the same stats this year. Bucks run the ball more. I think that's part of it too. Yeah. All right. Intern Danny has some numbers for us. Intern Danny, what do you have for us? We told you to look some stuff up.
Yeah. So, you guys hear me?
Yeah. Go ahead.
All right. I got Joe Boyle stats from AAA this year.
What do you got?
Joe Boyle this year in AAA, he is 6-4. Has a 1.85 ERA in 14 games started. Has 73 innings pitched and 96 strikeouts.
Jesus,
unbelievable! And you also asked me to look up how many runs Bradley has given up in the first and second inning. 17 hits before the second inning. That includes, I guess,
17 hits. 17 hits
before the second inning.
That's not a good start. All right, cool. Anything else?
Last year Mayfield had obviously the stats, but so one of the guys you had me, Patrick Reed, he has 7 wins, 3 losses, and 2. I think it's
2 draws.
2 draws at the Ryder Cup.
All right, thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Get Danny in there. 7-3-2 for Captain America at the Ryder Cup, and he's winning on the Live Tour. How do you keep him off the team? That is one of the stronger Ryder Cup records. Yeah. But it is a team sport. So
it also has been 7 years since he played in the Ryder Cup, just saying.
Been 7 years?
He played in 14, 16, and 18.
Interesting. Yeah, he's not making the team.
Yeah. My last note, by the way, here before we sign off is Wimbledon started today, as obviously the crown jewel tennis tournament, and I've had the Alcaraz match on this entire show, and he's in a dogfight. JP, he is in a dogfight with a 30-year-old Italian by the name of, his last name is Fabio Fognini, 38 years old.
Fognini.
And right now, Alcaraz won the first set 7-5, lost 7-6 in the second, won 7-5 in the third, and now they're in a fourth, and they are 3.5 hours into this match. So Alcaraz having to work really hard to win his first round matchup at Wimbledon. So keep an eye on that one.
Interesting. And we'll leave you with this. Mike H says, did you see the splash zone or bird bath section at Camden Yards? People pay to sit and get hosed down by a guy with a pink flamingo pool floaty around his waist. Looked like fun. I did see that. I was like, what the hell is going on there? I'm like, it's kind of hot. That's the bird bath splash zone. I like that. We need more things like this.
Arizona has the pool too. Arizona's has the pool, right?
Yeah. Well, we need more stuff like that. That sounds fun. The bird bath. Hose people down. Show up in a bathing suit and it gets a little hot. You got the guy with the floaty hosing you down. Maybe you want to choose something a little bit more voluptuous. Well, I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe we can do that. Instead of some guy with a pink flamingo floaty. I don't know. Try to pick it up a little bit here. All right. Enjoy, you guys. Thank you very much for jumping in. Appreciate you. Great job, Nick. As always, Rays and A's tonight, 7:35. Go out and support your favorite team. We love them. Go Rays tonight. And we will see you tomorrow. Orestes Estrada joins us in studio.